right, what's up, YouTube? We are back, the GoatCast podcast. I am CW, joined here by someone I might have seen this weekend, BigNige. What's going on, BigNige? I think we crossed paths a little bit this weekend.
Yeah, we definitely crossed paths. We had a good old time, but I'm doing good, and I'm ready for this video today. Got a good video, good topic for y'all.
And before we hop into that, we just want to say we appreciate everybody subscribing to the channel. Please like it; really helps us, with the algorithm. But in our defense, we had a lot of people come out for that Hall of Fame video, and it was just based on our criteria. We weren't trying to say that James Harden and some of those other guys or Draymond Green weren't Hall of Famers. We were just saying that based on how we would judge a player getting into the Hall of Fame, that's kind of where our thought process and opinions came from. So, we're taking strays and taking bullets for some of that, but just because he's a little tougher on him than I was. So, but just respect the opinions. But hopping into our discussion for tonight, a lot of talk has come from sports media about the women's Team USA 2024, the players that will be representing Paris to hopefully bring us home some gold. And these are the names. And I guess I'll go through them real quick. There's Aja Wilson, Alyssa Thomas, Breanna Stewart, Brittany Griner, Chelsea Gray, Deanna Taurasi, Jackie Young, Jewel Lloyd, Kali Copper, Kelsey Plum, Nafisa Collier, and Sabrina Ionescu. I hope I said that right. Those are the women that will be representing the United States this year. And some notable names are not on this roster. One being the new darling Caitlin Clark, who's just been the center of attention for the WNBA. I don't think there's a segment or a show that's gone by that hasn't mentioned her name so far this WNBA season. So, I mean, that's a good thing. They're getting a lot of talk. Some good, some bad. So our first topic for tonight was Caitlin Clark. And as you see, there's no rookie currently on there. Angel Reese isn't on there. Cameron Brink also playing pretty well. They're playing well as well, but they are not currently on the roster and won't be on the roster. So do you think Caitlin Clark was snubbed from Team USA?
Okay, so before I get into this, let me say this, okay? So obviously this isn't really directly tied to the WNBA as it is the the Team USA committee, like the people who went in and decided to put this roster together. I think they missed the ball on this one. I think Caitlin Clark, albeit if we're not talking about a basketball perspective, because sure, she has not proven herself to be on this roster to compete at that level, right? But if we're talking about if the end goal is to put more seats, in the arena, to globalize your brand, this is where I'm thinking that the people in place aren't making the best decisions to increase your brand. Because let's be honest here, for the past couple of years, we know good and well the women's team is going to win the gold, right? So if we're talking about competing, we're talking about competing at the highest level. You take one of those people off this team, they're guaranteed to win the gold. So let's stop the noise about she's not ready to play at this level and she hasn't earned her spot. Okay, we get this, right? And I'm gonna just go ahead and call her out. Diana Taurasi, much love to her. She's about 75 years old out there. Her spot could have been given. Listen. We talking about globalizing the brand. We talking about putting more money in these women's pocket that they're very deserving of, but it has to start somewhere. And everybody wants to bring up, Caitlin Clark's not ready. There's been plenty of rookies to join the Team USA, right? In 2008, it was Candace Parker, and I think the next year after that, it was Breanna Stewart in 2012 or 2016, whatever the year. And it was just we've seen rookies join the Team USA. Obviously, they weren't key contributors off the jump. And you wouldn't even have to play Caitlin Clark that much. But if you put her on that team, jersey sales are going to go through the roof. Attendance is going to go through the roof. You can even ask people around you, right? Who's watching the Olympics, right? And there's probably a good amount of people who are going to watch the Olympics. But then you add the Caitlin Clark element, which we both know that's almost doubling your viewership just with her namesake alone. You don't even have to play her that much. And if they're going to be smacking teams like they've been doing anyway, she can get some garbage time minutes. She can play and get reps with these, superstar WNBA players that can elevate her to get to the next level faster, which in turn, she's seeing the work ethic from these ladies. She's seeing the drive, what it takes to be at their level, because clearly she's not there yet. This is the face of your league. And again, I know the committee for Team USA is different than the WNBA and as a whole. But if we're just talking about aligning our goals, and you got the greatest people from the WNBA coming to play for Team USA, I would think their goals should intertwine a little bit in terms of pushing that brand to be a more global brand. They have the success, they have the players, they're just lacking the cachet. And that's why I think they're missing the ballpark by not adding Caitlin Clark.
Okay. I mean, I get that. And I would say I would completely agree with you. If the Olympics were taking place here in the States, then of course you want to put superstars on your roster. The fact that it's in Paris, I mean, they're going for the gold. I mean, yes, they're likely going to smack all these teams, but I get what they're doing. They could have taken one or two people off to insert one of these newer players, have them on the roster, get that, get the eyeballs from those that are new, are finally supporting the WNBA. But you gotta understand probably what their mindset was. They want these girls, these women, because they have international experience. Most of those women have not only played WNBA basketball, but they played overseas. So they know how the game flows and how of course FIBA has different rules. So they can they're already acclimated to that. Most of them, I will say that. And Candace Parker made it because they needed her height. She's, if Caitlin Clark was 6'6", 6'7", it'd be a different story. But she's a wing player, and they got plenty of wing players. And yeah, they could have just said, Deanna, you're 41, sit this one out. But it's kind of like LeBron James. LeBron James could have sat this one out, gave that spot to a younger player.
Come on now. No. Come on now. No. We're talking about globalizing the brand. We're talking about the biggest names.
But that's not what the Olympics is about. Because of Dream Team and all that, that's what they made it about. But it's not about the superstars. It's not about bringing eyeballs. I mean, you're not making any extra money other than, jersey sales. But
who you bringing in over LeBron then?
What'd you say?
Who you bringing in over LeBron then? If you're talking about he could have sat down.
I mean, you can bring in a plethora of players, and the Team USA is probably going to win that.
Yeah.
You can bring in Paulo. But back to my point. Yes, they could have. You could have with that roster. But back to my point. Yes, they could have added Caitlin Clark, but the one thing is they didn't even try out. Of course, they couldn't because they were still involved in the Final Four, but they didn't even go to the tryouts for it. So, I mean, there's that caveat. But I just think they're looking at winning, and that's what Olympic basketball or Olympic sports is all about. You want to bring your best athletes there, and it's not about the pomp and circumstance or the pageantry. If this was an all-star game, yeah, you put Caitlin Clark out there for an all-star game because that's going to bring the most eyeballs. But the Olympics, no, I'm okay with her being left off. I would think, somebody like Angel Reese would be, someone that they would look at because she's bigger, she can rebound, and you want that in an international game because the physicality is going to be a whole lot more than even the WNBA presents because, as you know, FIBA rules allow a little more physicality. And thank you, alleged. Actually, yes. Please do not focus on LeBron James. I just used that
That
as
was
an
a bad
example.
example, though. I'm just saying.
And
That was
that
a
was a
bad
perfect example
example.
because he's old, like you said, and you were trying to put Deanna off of that team, but you put your oldest player off of the men's team, and you're still going to win that gold most likely, unless y'all just have a absolute collapse. Because who's going to beat them? Canada. I don't see any other
Canada
team
has a
that
really good team, though.
Canada
Their team
does,
is tough.
but I mean, you can be with LeBronless and still win that ring. I mean,
For
that
sure.
gold. So I just think they were looking at this from a basketball perspective, and that's the main reason why she was left off. Yes, she's not proven yet. She doesn't have any international experience. So I mean, that probably went into their thought process. They're not thinking about marketing and all those other things because I mean, who's going to make the money? The NBA from jerseys?
Can I follow up with the question then?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so on this roster that you pulled up, now Chelsea Gray, and yeah, you can pull it back up, but Chelsea Gray has yet to play a single dribble this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was she getting the nod? And even if you don't want to say Caitlin Clark, even though I believe she should be there, but what about? I think there's a lady that's Arike Agumake.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's averaging about 26 points a game. Why do you think that Chelsea Gray got the nod over her?
She American born?
I want to say she
not.
is.
That's the obvious answer, but
I'm pretty sure she's averaging 26 points a game. I'm pretty sure I'm not the first one that brought this up, but I'm pretty sure like she was on the snub list.
Okay.
Behind,
I mean,
of course,
maybe they're going for the who fits with who. I mean, I'm not sure about that. Because there's probably players that deserved it that been in the WNBA for a while that probably deserved it over some of these women, but they're probably looking at their foreign experience, their fit together, because that means a lot because you can throw out the best players, but if they have no kind of chemistry, if they're not going to work, everybody has to have the ball, then, there's going to be no ball movement. There's going to be no kind of good basketball in that situation. So, I mean, to me, that's probably why they picked the players they picked, because they know they can work together. And, Caitlin Clark is not experienced, So, I mean, she's averaging 16 points, a lot of turnovers. She's small. She's not a really good. I mean, if she was a great defender and she could score, I would say, yeah, why would you not put that on there? But she's not a great defender. So, I mean,
then why put her on the alternate? Like, why put her as an alternate? Like, and
because she's not
don't.
bad. She's not terrible, but I'm
if
just
you
saying.
have her as an alternate, then you're already considering her for that spot.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
if we understand how Team USA works, we understand that there's going to be some bench warmers out there. There's going to be some women out there who could contribute, who are just not going to get that much run. So if we're talking about,
so you just want her on the roster just for the eyeballs, just for the.
Yes, you can bring her in to global to help build your brand, to help put money in these females' pockets. Like, we're not going to sit here and act like having her on the team would not boost the sales and drive Team USA even to a more marketable stance than they already are. And I get that's not their focus, but if you can kill two birds with one stone, I don't see why they would do it. And I'm gonna follow up with this, right? Mm-hmm. So me and you both agree Caitlin Clark's hype is at its highest as of this moment, right? So let's just say if we are both in agreement that they should wait to the next 4 years until the next time, right? Mm-hmm. And what if she continues to struggle? What if they start labeling her as a bust? Okay. So with that, then there comes the question, dang, we didn't get to capitalize on the hype train that was Caitlin Clark when she was at her best. Now 4 years has come. Now this product's kind of damaged goods. She's not as good as we projected her to be. She's still shooting 30% from the three-point line. She's still, hasn't adjusted to the physicality. People aren't tuning in as much. Whereas if you would have put her in the beginning, she would have learned from those players sooner. She would have 4 years to take their lessons to heart. So come in the next Olympics, you have more narratives, right? If she stays on the team
Yeah.
and they win, then the next Olympics, can she repeat without the big guns? With some of them kind of aging out, or if they lose, if they somehow found a way to lose, Caitlin Clark can bring the rookie class that she has and people
Mhm.
coming along like Paige Buchers and other, great women players coming up. Can they avenge their collapse
I
from the
mean,
last Olympics? I mean, there's so many narratives that you can
yeah. I
spin.
mean,
You
if
can market the Olympics better.
yeah.
You can do so much more by just putting her on the team. She doesn't even have to play that
So you
much.
just want her on there for the optics, is what you're saying. It's just so they see her there. So that's just so she's there, even if she's playing, she's not playing.
Yes, because that is the first
I
step
mean,
in
does that
globalizing
not
the
damage her
game.
more than her? Imagine Steph Curry on a Olympic team and he doesn't play. Does that help his brand? Does that help? LeBron James. If they don't play LeBron James during the Olympics, is that going to be good for LeBron's legacy?
We already saw that back in, was it 04
Oh,
or
for
08?
I mean, he played.
But he didn't play like we understand like the whole redeem team and everything. Like
Yeah,
there was a reason. Like LeBron, like he didn't play as much as they would have thought he would have, but there was vets ahead of him that it just wasn't LeBron's time. But he was still on the roster. He still
but
learned from those players.
did that boost his legacy or boost his legend at that time? Just him being on out there on the Team USA. So
It
if he had,
led to
if he
the
had not
narrative
they
of
had not
Team.
put him on there, would that have changed anything about LeBron James?
He wouldn't have got the Olympic experience to come back the next year and dominate. It's the same thing. You're talking about passing the torch. I mean, if she is your face, why wait another 4 years to put her there when she's good enough right now to,
Because she's only
to be on
played
that team?
13 WNBA games. I mean,
What's wrong with that?
that's not. Does that make an Olympic level player when you have women that have played for years, that have proven themselves, that have won championships, won MVPs, all of that? Is that not enough for them to be able to represent the U.S.? And you would take away that opportunity for them, for Caitlin Clark, just for the eye candy, just for the pageantry of having possibly the next great thing just on the roster. When some
Yes.
of these women are about to phase out because they're getting older, their careers coming to an end. So you don't give them that opportunity just for someone that's going to have the opportunity for years to come. She's, you know, even if she's a bust, they're going to find a way, unless she's just completely terrible, to market her in some form or fashion. As long as she stays healthy, as long as she has some semblance of a okay game and she's not out there putting up, you know, triple singles, she's going
Yeah, but
to
we
they're
know
going to
that it's
push her.
not. But we
So
know nothing is promised.
yeah,
Like
nothing
if
is
if she's
promised,
if
but
she's the hottest thing since sliced bread right now, you need to optimize on this gym before something could happen. Injuries can derail the career.
I
You know,
mean, yeah,
someone else could come through and make her look like nothing, right? Maybe they try to push this next person coming along, but like this is your chance right now to push your sport, to pay, to get new renegotiated deals, to pay these players, the players that you just mentioned that are the high level players that deserve the max dollars, right? The max is what, 200 something $1,000. Like
yeah. But I mean, the
and
Olympics
it's
are not going to help that, other than maybe bringing in maybe more eyeballs.
but those
But
more eyeballs can bring in the
is
viewership.
the WNBA big enough to get those global eyeballs? Do people even outside of America know much about Caitlin Clark?
What if she
Who
were to
Caitlin
put
Clark?
on a show though? What if she, along with the other amazing WNBA players, if they put on a show and they make a statement, and Caitlin Clark is a part of that team and they make history? right? I'm saying they beat teams by like 40 plus points. They make history with her on the team. So not only Caitlin Clark gets the credit, right? Because she's just a contributor. She's not the lead. She's not the lead yet. She's gonna lead her crew eventually, but right now she's a backup to the Aja Wilsons, Kelsey Plums, et cetera, et cetera. You get to drive the narrative. You get to continue to build off of something, right? But if you don't have her on the team and you guys win, well, what difference was it from the year before? Where do we build? Where do we market?
If they lose,
what okay, and if they lose, what? Then what? Where's the story?
Does that hurt the narrative that you had this rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark, on there, and they can't beat the rest of the world?
No, because you got more people paying attention. Like think of it like this, right? So if Caitlin Clark is getting this much viewership, if she's taking the Indiana Fever's average attendance to like 4,000, 5,000, whatever, to almost 17,000, think of it like that. They're willing to watch the god-awful Indiana Fever just to see Caitlin Clark. Okay, you put that, and you actually put good players around her, like the Olympic players on that team, that viewership would go astronomically bigger. And they stopped the season. They literally played the Olympics, 7 practices after the final dribble of the WNBA season? Because they play on July 29th. So you got a small window to market this on. Like, you got 7 practices. You got enough time to kind of divvy up the marketing, push Caitlin Clark across, along with her teammates, of course, make her look like the background. Everybody's getting their shine. And if she doesn't play that much, she's still part of the team. She can talk to the press. She can address them and say, hey, this isn't my year. I'm learning a lot from Kelsey Plum, how to shoot off the dribble, how to get to my spots, and the physicality. That's the one thing we're missing in the international sports. It is very, very physical. If Caitlin Clark, if she can get exposed to that early, right, it can unlock something in her. Now when she's getting, bumped and shoved in the WNBA during the regular season and eventually the postseason, now it doesn't faze her as much. Now she can look like the super megastar that everybody's projecting her to be. You're almost hindering her by not showing this to her sooner. If she's going to be the face of your league, and she's good enough to be on the roster, we're not acting like she's some scrub.
So being good on a bad team. She's good on a bad team.
Well, obviously they got the number 1 pick. They're going to be a bad team. She's not going to get drafted to the Aces or the Sun.
I think that it would make more sense if this was held in the United States, in my opinion, because then, yes, and the Team USA committee is completely separate from the WNBA and all of that. Right. So they don't, I'm not saying they don't care, but their goal is to put a team together that's going to win the gold for the United States. So they could care less about if it's going to make money for the WNBA. They want to show everybody that they can put together the best roster, go out there, win, and bring home gold. Yes, they could have, like I said earlier, like we said, they could have sacrificed one spot just to have her on there. But why? Why in the end? She's actually going to, as long as she stays healthy, and that's a key. Yes, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. No, we don't. And somebody, and one of those roster members, I don't wish nothing on anybody, but something could happen, and she might slip in. It's not that she's completely out. They just didn't pick her for the initial roster. But if we know that as long as everything goes to plan, she'll have time. And you put the best out there. And if I was, like I said earlier, I would put Angel Reese. And of course, you're talking about from the perspective of, getting more eyeballs. But for the game, I would put Angel Reese in there. She's getting used to the physicality. So I think she'd be a good person to put out there against those foreign players. But, she's not as big as Caitlin Clark. I understand that. But if we're talking the game, then Caitlin Clark is definitely not needed. You got players that are better than her, that do the same thing she does for the most part. and can do it on both ends. So you got her spot covered. If you didn't, if she was just that head and shoulders above those wing players, then yes, but she's not. And she turns the ball over a lot. She's not ready for the physicality. So just putting her on in the spot, then you're gonna have the other side that's gonna say they're showing favoritism, and she's only on there because she's considered the face of the WNBA, which isn't fair to her there either, because she probably doesn't want that special treatment. She wants to earn it. So obviously they didn't think she earned it. So she's gonna miss out on this one. And she has plenty more opportunities. As long as she stays healthy, she will be a part of the women's team USA, just not now.
There's just so much history that points to them giving her the nod when they've given Christian Laettner the nod over Shaquille O'Neal. They've given, Old Bird, Old Magic the nod over Isaiah Thomas and Clyde Drexler. But I won't get into it. Just understand that we'll just agree to disagree. But there's just so much history there that just points to the fact that she should be on this team. And considering how depleted the market is for the WNBA, I just thought it would have been two birds in one stone. You get her on the roster, you build the narratives, you continue to drive that cash cow until it runs dry. And
okay, so let me ask you this then. Do you think they did that purposely? You think they purposely left her off because there's some vendetta against her, they don't like her, something of that nature? You think these women on that committee, women and men on that committee, purposely left Caitlin Clark off?
I don't think they purposely left her off. I just think they're not seeing the bigger picture. I would go more that they just missed the ball. And I'm not saying they're wrong in their decision. If this is a strictly basketball decision, I understand where they're coming from. But I'm just saying, if we're talking about the women that are going to be on this committee, the ones that are going to be benefiting the most from having Caitlin Clark on that team, is the women she's playing with, and even the woman that she replaces. Right? If we take one person off that team and we put her on there, they're still going to win gold, and the viewership is going to increase. And that is where it's going to pay off, because those women will get paid what they actually deserve. It might not happen tomorrow, but it's furthering that progress faster. Like you're getting to that point quicker than, just saying, yeah, Caitlin Clark got her time. So that's another 4 years that you potentially are missing out on viewership and new fans, global fans who want to tune in from Russia or China or wherever. We're not seeing where this can take the WNBA right now. While Caitlin Clark is as hot as she is right now.
But if you're a NBA player, and you've made this roster, you're 30-something years old, you don't have a gold medal, do you take that opportunity away from them? Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for some of them. The older ones, they're probably not going to get this opportunity again. So do you strip that away from them, maybe for possibly a bigger payday one day? Do you take that away from them to not be able to show their grandkids and their kids, I went to the Olympics and I won a gold medal? You take that away from them just for the potential of having Caitlin Clark out there and getting, this buzz and getting these new fans and all of this. You sacrifice that for one of those players just for that. So that player busted her butt all this time, and you let this rookie come in just because she's got this hype train behind her. You letting her come in, take your spot that you may not ever get again and may not get a chance to get again, and say, okay, well, this might put more money in my pocket one day, potentially. Would you be okay with that? If you were that player that gets cut for Caitlin Clark so she can just be on the team to bring a spotlight, how would you feel? Would you be okay? We'd be like, okay, well, I might get some more money, but I miss out on a gold medal in the Olympics, one of the biggest athletic events ever.
Man, if I got a chance to get paid more than what I'm getting paid now over a gold medal, I'm picking that money.
You don't know that. You're 30-something. You might be cut next season. This might be your final.
What if I get a big payday and because of it? If I'm 36 and let's just say I'm like Diana Taurasi and I can play till I'm almost 44,
But
I can
they
get
don't
another
know that.
payday.
They don't know that. They don't know if they'll be able to play till 44. They might be able to play
But we don't know if we're gonna
one
win the
more.
gold though. We don't know if we're gonna win the
I mean,
gold.
they might
So am
not,
I
but
sacrificing
you
dollars or
still want that
am I
opportunity
sacrificing
to win a
gold?
gold. And if this
I
is your
want I want
last,
money. I want the money.
I
They
mean,
can keep
so
the gold
I
over
mean,
there. I'd get you asking me personally, and I got a chance to get a
but
payday.
being a
I'm
gold
gonna get
medal
paid.
winner is going to bring you money too, sponsorships and all that. So either way,
I mean,
you can get money.
I'm just talking about the league as a whole.
Yeah, I mean,
The
I
committee
understand
just
what you're
missed the
saying.
ball, and they just didn't do what I thought they should have done. But
Okay, and
that's their
I'm
call.
partially on your side there, but I think they saw this as making basketball decisions, not thinking about the bigger pictures that you say, and that's fine. I mean, that's what they're supposed. That's what they're hired to do is make the right basketball decisions. So,
I agree.
okay, well, there we go with that. But transition over to what's going on with the men. The NBA Finals have been rolling on, and we're 2 games deep, and it's looking pretty bleak for your pick, the Dallas Mavericks. They are down 2-0 to the Boston Celtics. Got a pretty bad beatdown in game 1. Game 2, they showed some life, but at the end, the Celtics just have a little bit too much from their defense to their wings, are able to just do a little more than Dallas is so far. Kyrie Irving has been a no-show throughout this NBA Finals. So, what do you think? Is this series all but over, or does Dallas have some life?
Well, I'll say this. So I definitely believe Game 3 is a must-win game for Dallas. When I did make my prediction, when I said Dallas in 6, I did not believe that Cancun Kyrie would be joining the Dallas Mavericks. I was thinking 2016 Kyrie or something close, but yeah, we don't have the Kyrie that showed up throughout the rest of the playoffs in the finals. Now, there was a graphic out there floating around that Kyrie is like still winless in Boston since I think
Mm-hmm.
it's since his departure. So I mean that's something that's nothing to sneeze at. That's definitely something, and it definitely holds merit. Boston's guards, Derek White, Drew Holiday, even Jaylen Brown coming up with some big stops on them. I mean, they're making it work. Even Peyton Pritchard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's getting up under him and he's making him work for every shot. So Kyrie's got his work cut out for him. Obviously, he still has yet to make a 3 this series, and I am sure that will change going into Game 3 and throughout the series. But he has not looked very good. Um, and that's the nicest way I can put it. Like Cancun Kyrie. When we look at Dallas as a whole, right? What I'm seeing them, at least from my first thoughts, 2 games in, is I'm seeing the Luka show again, and that's just something that I was assuming Dallas would kind of stay away from. Like we don't want Luka getting 30 points in the first half and then 4 points in the second half. Like we don't want Luka to feel like the whole burden is on his back, because there's even a graphic, or there was on the Draymond Green podcast, he was talking to Kevon Looney, and he thinks that Dallas needs to change up their game plan a little bit because the role players just really aren't getting involved early in the offense. Throughout the first half, I mean, guys who normally get a lot of touches, PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., Lively would get some touches, Gafford would get some touches. Like we're not seeing that. We're seeing a lot of Luka isolation, just on the premise that Boston's defense, they're not giving up the lob. They're not giving up nothing easy. Those floaters are 10 times tougher than they used to be. Those wide open shots that they are getting, because Dallas is getting a good amount of wide open shots, they're just not connecting. So because of that, they can pack the paint. They can force Luka to beat you one-on-one, or force a double at Luka, and you got to shoot over 2 people. You can swing it to PJ Washington, but I'm sagging on that shot. Derrick Jones Jr. too. I'm sagging on that shot too. I'm focusing on you and Kyrie. Y'all two are going to have to do some spectacular stuff to beat us. And they're just not, Kyrie's just not capitalizing. I think game 2 specifically was the closest game that they could have won for Dallas, because the Celtics did not shoot the ball well at all. Tatum's was having an all-time stinker. I think they started the quarter, I believe it was 1 for 9. And
Yep.
it took Al Horford until the end of that first quarter to hit that first three for Boston. Like they shot absolutely terrible, and
Mm-hmm.
they were still winning at halftime. So I mean that's not a good sign. But um, I'll finish up my Dallas thoughts by just saying that um, obviously Porzingis is out. Like they're saying he's listed day to day. We don't know the status of his injury, but my pick could still very well hold some truth. Just it just depends around Porzingis' health because Porzingis has definitely been the difference maker this series. Like they've been
Mm-hmm.
pretty close without him on the floor. Him on the floor, they blow Dallas out the water. So if he's the X factor, if they don't have his elite rim protection, his basically unguardable mismatches with the bigs or the guards that Dallas throws at him, Porzingis is on the floor, we could be looking at a completely different series. So um, yeah, in terms of Boston, I'll make it quick because I know I've kind of gone over. Drew Holiday was the hero, the unsung hero in Game 2. I think he made NBA history: 25 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, on 75% from the field, zero turnovers. First person I think since 1977, 1978. So big shout out to Drew Holiday. Big shout out to Joe Mazzulla for his coaching. He's coached his tail off. I
Mm-hmm.
love what I'm seeing from Drew Holiday in the dunker spot. He's kind of free roaming, kind of cutting, making it where if he's on the perimeter, you don't have to sag off of him because he's cutting up, he's in the paint, he's going on these backdoor cuts on the Tatum action. I love what I'm seeing from that. I love the passing I'm seeing from Tatum. I'm not really liking his shot selection, but he's doing everything else at a very good level. So I'm not going to crucify him right here, right now. And obviously, Jaylen Brown is kind of feasting on those one-on-one coverages. So between a good steady diet of Holiday, a little bit of Tatum, some Jaylen Brown, Derek White's hitting some big shots for them, especially in Game 2. Because Game 1 was pretty much a beatdown after the
Yeah.
second quarter. So there's not much to unpack there. But if Dallas wants any chance of this series, they're going to have to pray on to these basketball guys that Porzingis take the next couple games off and hope the role players and Kyrie shows up.
Pretty good analysis. I got one question. Who is Luka often compared to?
LeBron James.
Okay. So this is looking a lot like LeBron James in the 2007 NBA Finals, where the Spurs wanted him to score. They were like, fine, you can score all you want. We're just going to make sure nobody else scores. And that's the vibes I'm getting from Boston's defense is they're just making sure everybody else has to work even harder to get what they get. You know, Luka, they can't stop Luka. So there's nothing they can do there. They're just going to have to let him score. But he can't score 100 points by himself. So as long as you keep him, you let him get his 30, but you keep Kyrie at 12, 15, PJ Washington, 8, 10 points, Derrick Jones Jr., 5 points, something like that. You know, Gafford, maybe 2 dunks, Lively, maybe a free throw. You know, as long as you keep those guys off the box score, I mean, you're going to win, and they're going to win this handedly. Do I think it's over? No, because like you said, Porzingis went down, and he was a big factor, has been a big factor for them. So without him, there will be some struggle. I think it'll open Dallas up to score a little easier. I think Kyrie will be very happy to not see Porzingis out there because Porzingis is giving him a lot of trouble at the rim. He just cannot get his floaters and stuff up high enough to get over him or accurate enough to get over him. So if Porzingis goes down, that means they're going to have to use either Xavier Tillman more or Luke Cornett, and Al Horford's got to play big minutes. That's not the best front court guy for you in a big time, high stakes NBA finals. I mean, I won't say they're comparable, but I don't think Gafford is that much better than them or Lively's, but you know, I think they kind of even each other out. So then, you know, Porzingis put them over the top with him out there. But so far, Boston, even with Tatum playing like I don't know what he's playing like. He's just playing like he's
Playing like he's getting doubled and not
yeah, he's
making the
playing
right
like
reads.
he just doesn't know what to do offensively. He's trying to force stuff sometimes, and he just can't get in his groove. He can't get any rhythm, and he puts up some. He always does this, but he puts up some terrible shots where he's just contested and he'll just shoot a three, and it's like it's not going in. You can't even hit him by yourself, wide open. So if he continues to do that, and they slightly get a lower tick from maybe Brown or Drew Holiday was my X factor, and he's shown that he's been a key player for them. If he has maybe an off night, Derek White, he can he can light it up or he cannot. If they start trending that way, then Dallas can get some life to him and get some confidence up. And if Kyrie gets his confidence up, it's going to be a whole different ball game. It's a lot of it just depends on Porzingis, his health, how much he can be out there, if he can contribute at all. And like I said, Mazzulla's done great. I think he's doing well with their schemes, what they're doing, how they're defending Dallas has been impressive to me, because you would think the number one defense in the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves, would have had a better plan to guard Dallas than Boston, who was third. But Boston wasn't Minnesota, but it seems like Boston just came in with a very good game plan, and so far they've executed. And that's another thing. They have guys that are going to execute their plan to a T, even if they're off, even if they're missing, even if, like you see with Tatum, his shot's off, but he's still executing in a way that helps the team. He's passing the ball. He's getting guys good looks under the basket or on the three-point line. So as long as they're playing their parts, and I think I said this when we were doing our predictions, they're going to win. As long as Boston plays like Boston played all season, I don't see a way Dallas can beat them. It's just if Dallas can conjure up some of what they had in that Clippers series and definitely in that Minnesota series, they can definitely come back and make it interesting. I just don't know if they have enough. Luka's he's laboring out there. He's trying, but he just needs that sidekick. He needs somebody to take over where he can take possessions off, and he can't because Kyrie just can't get nothing going. And those long droughts hurt him because Boston usually makes him pay at least a few times. If it's not getting to the free throw line, it's Jaylen Brown blowing past his guy and getting to the basket, or Derek White hitting a wide open three. So Dallas is going to have to do some soul searching and just hope they can just get one big game and maybe right off of that. But if they don't, I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think 5 games is safe to say.
I got a question for you to kind of piggyback off your Boston. So in these 2 games so far, who do you believe, if the finals ended today and the Celtics won, who would you give the finals MVP to?
And they did this the other night on the halftime show. I think a halftime show or the post-game show. I got to go with Mike Wilbon going Drew Holiday so far. He's made a huge impact on both ends, and without him, they probably would have lost game 2. So I think he's done enough to get the nod. You could go with the default Brown. Tatum is definitely not even. I wouldn't say he's top 3 right now. I would say it'd be, in my book, Drew, Jalen, Porzingis. If we're going, because he's been a difference maker. Of course, he was hobbled in game 2 late, but he's been a difference maker in that game, in that series. So, I mean, it could be the Iguodala thing all over again, or even Kawhi in 2014 who got it, and it could have gone to Tony Parker or anybody else, but because of the things he did all around, the difference he made, he got the nod. So who do you got?
I'm leaning more toward Jaylen Brown. I mean, Porzingis is obviously he has a legitimate chance at taking that, but I'm just looking at the impact. I'm looking at the leadership. I'm looking at obviously they're going to take into consideration a little bit like how he's played throughout the playoffs, because Finals MVP isn't just one quick series and then it's just like, okay, we're just like you have to play well in the finals, obviously, but they do kind of look at your totality, your total run, and they'll kind of like nitpick here and there. But I think Jaylen Brown, if they were to win today, I think Jaylen Brown would have walked in with the Finals MVP just because of his consistency. And obviously, it's not Tatum's fault that he's getting doubled and the defense has got their head on the swivel when he's out there. But if you can't give me more than 17 points on like 35% shooting, I mean, I can't give you the Finals MVP like that. Even if he could just get to 23 a game on like mid 40 shooting percentage, you could possibly maybe give him it, but I think it's a toss between Jaylen Brown and your guy Drew Holiday. But I'd give the nod to Jaylen Brown.
That's a safe pick.
And I'll end with this. I'll even let you weigh in this too. I think for Dallas, if another X factor, I think it's time to empty the cavalry. We gotta see some Tim Hardaway Jr. minutes and some.
I think Jaden Hardy, yeah.
I think especially one of those two, if you would unleash them and to get an offensive punch, similar to what we saw Tim Hardaway Jr. do against OKC, I think that would have been a very good time to use that weapon and get some offense going. That could have potentially, you could have taken game 2 and then going into a game 3 with potential no Porzingis. So now there's no backline pressure that's, airtight, like having Porzingis and then having Al Horford. Now Horford has to play more minutes. They got to rely on somebody like Cornette. Maybe some things can happen. Tatum continues to break, and maybe Brown has a stinker. You might be up 2-1 in your own home court to potentially have a 3-1 lead against Boston. But Jason Kidd decided to go with Dante Exum. God, I don't know why. And Kleber, who clearly doesn't want to shoot the ball, so I don't know why.
You could tell his shoulders hurt. He's
hurt. Just let him sit down and go put somebody in who's ready to play. So, and then for Boston, obviously, if Porzingis is hurt, I saw a graphic out there about Horford. If you play him about 30 minutes, I think it's no more than 30-ish minutes or so, he plays phenomenal. I think anywhere outside of 35 and up, that's when he continues to tail off on both ends of the floor. So obviously you want to watch his minutes. He is an old man. He's bald too, just like CW. Got to get that in there. But now I think you just need to monitor his minutes, see what you can do to get – someone needs to put an arm around Tatum and just like, listen, brother, can you just give us something that's not on some terrible efficiency? I don't care if you go 5 for 5. I mean, just something to get your mind right, get you good, get to the free throw line, because definitely he's driving and they're not calling fouls. We understand that. But just tell him to continue to be aggressive. He's making the right reads up the double teams. And don't worry about if you don't get Finals MVP. Just go ahead and just eliminate from that from your mindset, because I don't want you coming in and chucking and thinking you got to put it on your back because you want Finals MVP. We understand you want it, but it might not be a year. We might repeat next year, so just get Tatum on board that he's probably not getting this Finals MVP no matter what he does, and just get this ring, man. I mean, it's science still delivered for you if Kyrie's going to 1, 2, 3 Cancun. So, I mean, just stay the course, stay consistent, and the championship is theirs to lose. I mean, I'm still picking Dallas in 6 because I'm going to roll with the ship on this one. I think they could definitely make some noise, potentially win games 3 and 4 with no Porzingis if he doesn't play. And then now we're going into a decisive game 5 that we all know, and we know Luka can come through and snatch some hearts. So if they can ride that momentum and they can win a must-win game 3, followed up with a solid, tough game 4 win, I think my prediction might still be on track. I'm not giving up hope yet. I'm still going Dallas in 6, even though they've been getting.
I like your consistency, so that's right. Don't jump ship, but you probably should.
Heck, no, I want it. Nah, man, I'm rocking with it, dog.
You probably should, because this might not make it back to Dallas. It might not go back to Dallas. So
you're not wrong.
So you think they got to win 4 out of 5 now. So you put yourself back against the wall. I mean, Luka is – he might be one of those guys, and he's got to show me that he's going to be that just superstar, that mega star. This is his time. He's going to have to put the team on his back. He's trying, but it's not enough. So this could be that 2007 Spurs Cavs series all over again. They'll have some close games. We're gonna get them brooms out. I'm not calling it yet, but the way these games have been going, we can definitely start moving towards the closet to get the broom out. And then we might start sweeping a little bit once. I think when game three,
good, man.
when the dust clears on game 3, we're gonna be sweeping that dust up to let them know, crowning a new NBA champion in the Boston Celtics. Which I have another question, but this is for another video, another time. But I'm just leave the statement and we're gonna wrap it up. But does it feel like NBA dynasties are slowly dying, and that each year is anybody's chance?
I definitely agree. I definitely think parity is definitely at its all-time high. Everybody's coming in very skilled, and team ball is being more emphasized. Like we're seeing it. I'm not going to obviously we're not going to go into it, but just understand that team ball is a lot more valuable than just throwing a bunch of superstars or old head superstars together and like, all right, we made the Avengers. I'll go out there and go get that ring, and they get smacked in the first round. So
yeah, it's looking like since 2019 forward, it's looking like any team's ball game to win the chip. So that can be a topic for a later time. But yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up. I think we went as long as we're going to go today. So any parting thoughts?
Don't vilify us too much in the comment section. If you don't agree, I mean, give us your best, give us your worst. I promise you, it's not going to change our opinions. We love the feedback nonetheless. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Definitely, we need to get to that 100 subscriber goal so you can finally get the GOAT debate that you've all been wanting between, of course, BigNige and CW. So you definitely don't want to miss that. I got all the artillery. It's ready. It's sitting here ready to go.
I've got plenty.
It's going to be a very good 100 subscriber special for y'all. So just keep hitting that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about what we've been saying.
Yes, I definitely echo that. And also, don't make it your last time. You know, if you see something you don't agree with us, don't make that your last time, because I promise you'll agree with us on something, because we both have our own opinions. So you're going to agree with something we say. So don't let one time be your last time. Please come back, check us out, and we will continue to drop some more videos throughout the week and some more of our thoughts and opinions. And even in the comment section, let us know if there's any topics you want us to hit on. If anything, you know, you'd like to see from the channel, just let us know, and we'll try to make sure that happens. So appreciate you guys coming out, all those comments and everything, negative or positive. We enjoy it. So we will be back soon, and you guys have a great rest of your week.
All right, y'all.